Kabul airport was near deserted today as huge crowds of Afghans desperate to leave the country dispersed after the last U.S. evacuation flight took off, taking their final hopes of rescue with it. Taliban fighters and a handful of journalists were virtually the only people at the airstrip, which for weeks had been the scene of frenetic activity as the West's 20-year presence in the country drew chaotically to an end. Satellite images, which a week ago had captured tens of thousands of Afghans thronging airport gates and thousands of lucky evacuees boarding planes, today showed empty runways and streets. The only things visible in the satellite images were a handful of aircraft that were left behind by the retreating Americans, which had mostly been disabled or stripped of weapons. It is thought that hundreds of British and American citizens were left behind during the airlift, along with thousands of Afghans who were promised sanctuary in return for helping Western forces and are now fearing for their lives under Taliban rule. The final U.S. flight out of Kabul took off late Monday, bringing an end to America's longest tour ahead of an August 31 deadline that Joe Biden had agreed with the Taliban. Jihadist special forces, known as Badr 313 units, quickly moved in to capture the airstrip as fireworks exploded in the skies of Kabul and celebratory gunfire rattled into the night. What they found was a treasure trove of Western military kit, to add to the considerable haul they had already seized from government forces and used to arm their Badr units, who were decked head to toe in U.S. gear. Among the hull were 8 29 attack aircraft, not all of which looked to have been disabled, MD-530 helicopters, MRAP armored vehicles and Humvees, and a C-130 Hercules transport plane. Troves of American-made ammunition, grenades, body armor, helmets and other tactical gear were also strewn through hangars at the airport, which have now fallen into Taliban hands. Posing in front of the captured C-130 plane this morning, Taliban spokesman Zabihullah Mujahid hailed a victory over Western forces while calling it a big lesson for other invaders and for our future generation. Slide me. Slide me. Slide me. Slide me. It is an historical day and an historical moment. We are proud of these moments, that we liberated our country from a great power, he added. Meanwhile at Bagram Air Base, the former stronghold of Western forces in Afghanistan, its new 35-year-old Taliban commander was boasting of having beaten America using little more than Kalashnikov rifles while saying the airfield will now be a base for jihad for all Muslims. Speaking to The Times, Malawi Hafiz Mohibullah Mukhtar said, "Never in our wildest dreams could we have believed we could beat a superpower like America with just our Kalashnikovs." When you do jihad, all doors open. We defeated America with our faith and our guns, and we hope now that Bagram can be a base for jihad for all Muslims. For any foreign power considering attacking Afghanistan, then look at Bagram now and learn your lesson well before embarking on foolish endeavor. See the West's mighty technology humbled here by Mujahideen. In 15 years as a Mujahid fighting the Americans, I wondered often if I may fail or die. Yet here is proof of the power of faith and God and jihad. On the back of victory, I hope we can use Bagram as a place to spread jihad further into the region and Muslim world.